Welcome everyone. My name is Duncan, and today we're going to go over all of the Peace Library System e-resources that are geared towards a juvenile audience. Now, there's nothing stopping kids from accessing any of our e-resources, but the ones we're highlighting today are made specifically for kids in mind. They can also be used without parental supervision for those parents and patrons who might prefer juvenile geared e-resources. So I've split today into sections over each e-resource that we're going to cover. Before we begin, we're going to do a land acknowledgement. Peace Library System acknowledges that we are located on the Treaty 8 territory of the Cree, Beaver, and Dene people and Region 6 of the Métis Nation of Alberta. We are grateful to live, work, and learn together on this land, which has been home to many First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples since time immemorial. We recognize this land as an act of reconciliation, and we also commit to supporting and celebrating our local Indigenous communities while working to break down institutional barriers to make our libraries equitable and accessible. Now, we'll briefly go over the four programs that we're going to be covering today. We're going to take a look at Novelist K-8, which is a version of Novelist Plus, which you might already be familiar with. We're then going to look at OverDrive, but specifically we're going to look at the OverDrive Kids e-reading room, which is basically just a kid-friendly version of OverDrive. We're going to explore our language learning resource, Transparent Language Online, because they have a program called KidSpeak, which is a language learning software directed to kids. I believe it's a K-2 audience. So we'll take a look at how to access that. And then we're going to finish with Tumblebook Library, and we'll go through the different books and ebooks that Tumblebook has available. All right. But let's start with Novelist K-8. So to access any of our e-resources, you can come to our home webpage here, which is peacelibrarysystem.ab.ca. You can also access e-resources from any member public library website. So for example, if I'm going to the Grand Cache website, it's in the same spot, e-resources, and you can click on it, and it brings up a big alphabetical list of all of our subscribed e-resources. So I'm going to scroll down to N for Novelist, and you'll see that we have two different options here. Now, you might already be familiar with Novelist, which will make learning K-8 very easy. For those who don't know, Novelist is a resource that is used for readers advisory. The platform provides recommended reading lists, personal recommendations, author read-alikes, and more. There are tons of features, and it's really easy to get lost. So I'm going to go over some of the most useful features that can be used by a younger crowd. Now, the difference between Novelist K-8 and Novelist Plus being like the regular or the standard version, the difference is that Novelist K-8 limits their titles. So all of the recommendations that are being presented to the patron in K-8 are limited to a kindergarten to grade 8 audience. So it's not going to be recommending any adult series or adult authors. So parents can feel comfortable with youth browsing this platform and getting recommendations from the site. Now, we also have linked brochures, and this is the same brochure for both of them, for Novelist Plus and Novelist K-8. And you can print those off and distribute them as needed. All right, let's click into Novelist K-8. And immediately it's going to ask for our library barcode number and our 4-digit PIN. Going to hit login. And this brings us to our home page here. So a little bit about the home page. The very top, we have a navigation bar. Then we have a search bar. On the left-hand side, we have recommended reads lists. And then in the middle, we have some different features and links. So we have like a mood mixer where you can select your age range and different moods you're in. It'll give you recommendations, and then some other links down below. But we're going to start with the recommended reads list on the left here. So this sorts it into 3 age ranges. So teen, 9 to 12, or 0 to 8. So I would select an age range, and then it's giving me a list of categories. So holidays, for example, if I hit holidays, it's going to give me a list of subcategories. So stories about Christmas, Halloween, Ramadan, and I can select any one of these. I'm going to choose the Valentine's Day one. And when I select it, it's going to bring up a curated list of titles about Valentine's Day for that 0 to 8 age range. And this list is curated by staff from Novelist. So it's not just randomly putting together a list of keywords that are found in the item record. These are hand-picked titles, right? From this page, it'll also give you some, on the right here, some additional lists from some of the other categories you could have chosen. So maybe I want to look at the Christmas one. And a similar list appears. Now you can always go back home and reselect the list as well if that's not what you're looking for. So that's one feature. Another one is we're going to go up to our navigation bar here. We're going to go to the Browse By tab, and we're going to click Browse By Genre. So this is a similar tool to the recommended reads list. It's divided into age categories again. We have teen, 9 to 12, and 0 to 8. And then we can choose these different genres, and it's going to show us new and popular titles at the moment in that genre. So if I put thrills and chills, new and popular in thrills and chills, and we'll stay with teen novels, it's going to give us a few different lists. So we have mystery list of new and popular titles and a thriller and suspense list. Let's try another one, 9 to 12, do realistic fiction this time. And then some more example lists: historical fiction, realistic fiction, own voices, athletes, artists, and more. Okay. I'm going to click back home. And we're going to go up to the Browse By tab again and click on Appeal, Browse By Appeal. So just like Novelist Plus, Novelist K-8 has an appeal mixer. And appeals are what readers find interesting in the books they've read. And many of the item records in Novelist have these appeals picked out. So these are like different character types, different illustration types, different pacing or tone types for different novels. But what you can do is first select your age range that you're working with. And then you're going to choose an appeal or a category as they put it here. So I'm going to select the character appeal in this bar, and then I'm going to choose what kind of character I want to see. So maybe I want a mischievous character, and then I can select another appeal. Storyline appeal. I want the storyline to be action-packed. And then I can pick another appeal if I so choose. The tone. I want the tone to be amusing. So I've created a mix, and when I hit Find Titles, it's going to bring up a list of suggestions based on the appeals I've chosen. So based on the appeals I've chosen, it hasn't garnered a large list. It's only recommending this one title. But as I select different appeals, see this one has nothing. I wonder if we go to, oh, we have to choose 3. There's a longer list. So based on the appeals you've chosen, it's going to suggest titles. If you scroll down, they also have some of their own combinations they've made: amusing and whimsical, culturally diverse and own voices, action-packed and attention-grabbing. So you can browse through those as well. Okay, I'm going to hit home, and we'll go back home again. Under Browse By again, we're going to go to Award Winners. And this is going to bring up a big list of all of the most popular book awards for the 0 to 8, the 9 to 12, and the teen age ranges. So when you click on a list, for example, the Carnegie Medal, it's going to show all the winners from this year as well as previous years. And they might even be linked to an item record on Novelist, so that if you click on one, oh, that one didn't work. Let's try another one. Let's try this year's winner. There we go. So it brings you to the item record of that award-winning book. So these lists can be really useful for programming, or if you're creating themed book lists, or want to start curating a collection with award-specific books. These are all here for you to browse by. You can even browse by different types on the side here. So like Canadian, Fantasy Awards, American. And then it brings up all the books that are related to that category. So I have all the Canadian Book Awards now in this list. And if I click into any of them, it's going to bring me to all the winners. All right. From our homepage again, we're going to go up to quick links, and we're going to go down to genre guides. Okay, so these are in-depth descriptions and recommendations for some of today's most popular genres. And so these are created by Novelist staff and can be really helpful if you're planning introducing a new genre into your library or new types of books that you don't have previous experience with, or you're running some kind of themed programming and you'd like to learn a little bit more about the genre that you're working with. So for example, mythological fiction for older kids. If I click into this, it's going to give me a description of what the genre is, what happens in the genre. These are some top themes that are found in mythological fiction, and these are linked to different lists, and we'll take a look at that in a moment. Why readers like the genre. It's going to give some recommendations of the most popular titles within that genre, some of the most popular authors who write within that genre, and then just some more information. So it gives like a really good snapshot of mythological fiction for older kids. So you could plan an entire program or an entire book club around this and have all this information here ready to go. If we click into one of these themes, so these are the top themes for this genre. Like for example, Academies of Magic is a top theme. If I click on that one, it's going to bring me to a book list of mythological fiction that has the theme Academies of Magic in it. So we have over 24 results. So if you have a patron who's really into a particular genre and they're into this particular category of that genre, or only like this certain part of that genre, you can bring up a book list that serves that. All right, we'll go back to our homepage, and we're going to go to our search bar next. Now, the main way that users use Novelist is with the search bar, and this is what makes Novelist unique, because you can specify elements of a title that you're looking for. And then Novelist pulls up those elements and pulls them from item records and then presents you with a list. So if I wanted a book about dogs that takes place in the summer, and there's, I don't know, maybe ice cream in the book. So I have 3 keywords that I'm working with. I want a book about dogs, about summer, and about ice cream. When I hit search, Novelist is taking those keywords from all the item records in Novelist and presenting me with a list that is as close to my search as possible, right? So the first one, Stick Dog Dreams of Ice Cream. Perfect. That sounds like exactly what I'm looking for. Okay. From here, I can browse the book list. I can click on series, and it'll give me any series that Novelist thinks are related to my search. It'll give me a list of authors that Novelist thinks are related to my search, or any lists. Now for my book list, I can use these limiters on the side here. So I can restrict it to a certain age range, or maybe a publication date. Maybe I only want newer materials, and then I would hit update results. Or I can use these appeals down here to narrow down my search. All right, so I hit genre. So maybe I want only picture books for children. That's one of the genres here, or only humorous stories. So I would click on that, and then it's going to narrow down my search results from dog, summer, ice cream, and only show me humorous stories or books that are tagged as humorous stories in my list. Right? And then you'd have to click back to try another appeal. So if I wanted to use the tone appeal and I want silly books from this list, it's going to pull all the titles that are marked as silly. Okay, we'll click into the item record in just a moment, but I do want to show you the advanced search bar. So this is just a more complex way, has more parameters for you to use when you're doing a search. So you can use Boolean operators, the and, oh, there we go, the and or not Boolean operators in your search. If you don't know how to use these, we do have a cheat sheet on the PLS website. And then down here, there are different parameters. So we can do things like the author's nationality, grade level, Lexile range, author's gender identity, publication date. So all sorts of different ways that you can restrict your search if you're looking for a particular topic. All right, I'm going to click into the item record of a title. So when we click into a book, whether it's from a search result or just from the main page like I did, it's going to give us some information about it. Up here is where you're going to find a short description and some of the appeals. So like the genre, theme, storyline appeals. It's pulling up things like fantasy fiction, it's action-packed. The tone is atmospheric and romantic. Okay. It's going to give some reviews. If we click on more about this book, gives us some more information with the appeals linked and the different subject headings linked. So if there are parts of this book that you really liked and you want a list of titles that have to do with that particular topic, for example, an atmospheric tone, I can hit that. And it's going to bring me up a list of titles in Novelist that are tagged as atmospheric. All right, so I've clicked back into our title record. And then lists and articles, if it appears on any lists within Novelist, or if it's on like an award list or something, that usually appears here. All right, we'll look at the bottom in a moment, but first on the right-hand side, we have these read-alikes. So these are titles that are very similar to the one you're looking at. So if you have a patron or there is a child who's browsing Novelist and they find a title they like, this is where you would find recommendations for similar titles. If you hit view all on read-alikes, it's going to tell you why it's suggesting these titles, and it creates this kind of nice printout. So you could always print this out and the patron can take it with them. So for example, it's recommending this book called The Cruel Prince. And it says the reason these books are world building and they both have the theme court intrigue, high fantasy, and the subject imaginary kingdom, rulers, and political intrigue. So it's matching those appeals to create a really accurate read-alike recommendation. Okay. Now, another case could be a patron comes in and they really like this book, but they only like certain parts about this book and they want to find more books with only those certain parts. So they're really picking apart what they like. Well, in that case, we can come down here, and this is our appeal search. So this puts all of the appeals from this title, Wildbound, in a nice little box here. So the patron could select, they liked that it was fantasy fiction, they liked that it was action-packed, and they liked that it was a quest. So they're looking for something similar to those three appeals, and everything else is whatever. So you would hit search after selecting what you liked about the title. And the Novelist brings up a big list of titles that have those appeals linked in them. And then from here, they can browse, they can limit their list or narrow down their search even more and find titles. Now, important to note that Novelist plus Novelist K-8 is not connected to TrackPack, Polaris, OverDrive, or Cloud Library. So there's no way to tell if any of these titles are actually available from PLS. So if a patron does find a title of interest, I would double check, make sure that it is available through TrackPack or that there is an ebook available on OverDrive or Cloud Library, because Novelist does not tell you. Okay, you will need to double check. All right, that is Novelist. We're gonna go back to our top here. And next we're gonna look at OverDrive Kids eReading Room. So again, from our eResources list, I'm gonna scroll down to O for OverDrive. And we have two options here, just like Novelist. We have OverDrive and then OverDrive Kids eReading Room. And the difference is similar to Novelist in that the Kids eReading Room restricts the titles to a 0 to 12 audience. So it's basically just a kid-friendly version of the original. Now there's also brochures linked on each of them, and they're the same brochures, but we have a brochure for OverDrive and how to navigate it. And then we also have a brochure for Libby. And Libby is the mobile app that is used for OverDrive. It is the same thing. Libby does not have a separate collection of titles. It is the same titles that you are browsing on OverDrive. Those same titles appear on Libby. It's just two different names. All right, let's click into Kids eReading Room. Now, when you first click in, you want to make sure you're signed in. So I'm already signed in, but you would hit it would say sign in here. You'd hit sign in and you'd enter your library card and your 4-digit PIN. This is our home page, so it has any new titles that have been recently purchased appear at the top. Then we have some different book lists, so trending now, next great read. We have some themed ones with winter holidays and berry good reads, etc. In the top here, they can hit subjects, and this divides it into ebooks, audiobooks, and magazines. And then within each of those categories, it divides it into fiction and nonfiction. So kids could come onto these different subjects and find something they like. There's mythology. Oh, they can click on that, and it's going to bring up a list of books that are tagged as mythology in OverDrive. Okay. And you can just hit this kids logo to go back to the home page. Beside subjects is collections. And this just sorts all the different titles into collection types. So we have ebooks and audiobooks. We have No Wait, No Problems, which is like the Lucky Day collection, which means they're instantly available and you can have them for a 7-day loan period. There's a What's New collection. So these are new titles added to OverDrive, popular titles, and then check these out, which are just like recommended ones. So I'm going to hit No Wait, No Problems on ebooks. We have all these different ones to choose from. We can sort these lists using limiters on the side here, similar to Novelist. So these are all available, so we don't have the option for a holds, but you can select the availability, you can select the audience, date added, even different subjects. So if you're like, great, I don't have to wait for any of these titles in this collection list, but I only want fantasy titles, you can hit that, and then it restricts all of the titles to fantasy. Okay. I'll show you that again. We'll use our search bar. If I type in sun, so it brings up all the different titles that have the keyword sun somewhere in the item record. And then again, we can use limiters on the left here. See this one now. Available now, subjects, format, Lexile measures, text difficulty, etc. When I'm ready to borrow a title, if it is available, it's going to say borrow. If it's unavailable, I'll have to place a hold on it. But I'm just going to select borrow. I'm going to choose how long I want to borrow it for. Borrow. And then it's immediately going to give me the option to read it in my browser. So there are a few different ways we can read ebooks and e-audiobooks from OverDrive. We can read them on our desktop computer, just like so. So I can click Read Now in browser, and it's going to open up the title in a new tab. I can make it double-paged or single-paged. I can zoom in, zoom out. For some ebooks, not this one. This one's more like a graphic novel because it has the images, but you're actually able to change the appearance of the text for some of them and the font size, and you can save bookmarks by clicking this middle part here if there's certain pages you want to come back to. So that's one way to read it. Another way is on the Libby app. So if you've downloaded the Libby app to your device and you've borrowed a book from the desktop site here, it's automatically going to update on the Libby app. You don't have to transfer any files or anything. It's all connected to the internet. It automatically updates. If you choose to read an ebook on an e-reader, that's where we have to break out the cables and actually download a file from OverDrive to transfer onto our e-reader. And we're not going to go over how to do that in this session. There is an e-reader refresher webinar that was done a few months ago, and that's posted on our YouTube and Niche Academy. And that has step-by-step instructions on how to do all of the e-reader business. So if you're interested in learning more about that, go check out those webinars. So I've clicked out of that to read it in my browser. If I want to access titles that I've already checked out, I'm just going to click my account. I'm going to go to loans, and this is going to bring up everything that I currently have checked out. So these ones I can all read in my browser. This one gives me the option to download the EPUB ebook file, and this is the file I was referring to to download to transfer to your e-reader. Okay, but this is where your loans live. And then if you have any holds, they would live in this spot here. All right, so that's basically it for the OverDrive Kids e-reading room. Let's exit out of there. We'll start at the top of our eResources again. And we're going to go look at transparent language online. We're going to scroll down to T for transparent language. And we'll open up the brochure and take a look. So transparent language online is a language learning system that offers access to 100+ foreign languages and ESL courses. Each lesson combines real-life situations and audio from native speakers with simple and clear instructions. The courses focus on grammar, pronunciation, and alphabet learning, and some language courses come with additional resources such as links to an online community that actually speaks the language. There are blogs to read and videos to watch as well. If you are interested in learning more about the transparent language course and the different features, I did do a language learning eResources webinar, also available on our YouTube and Niche Academy. But that goes more in depth on all the different features. Today, we're focusing on the KidSpeak feature, which is an immersive language learning program for younger learners in grades K-2. So to access that, I'm going to click into transparent language online. Now, I have an account, so I can just log in. If you are a first-time user, you're going to have to click sign up and enter your library card number. It's then going to prompt you to make a login. Once that is made, you can log into transparent language. And when you first log in, this is the page you're going to see. It's going to ask you to choose a language to learn. Now, for most of these languages, when you click on one, it's going to tell you what is available for that, who can learn that particular language, rather. So for Arabic, they have English speaking, Spanish speaking, and Turkish speaking. So you can learn any of these different dialects of Arabic. If you speak English, you can learn these dialects if you speak Spanish, and you can learn these ones if you speak Turkish. Unfortunately, not every language you can't learn every language from any language you know. certain languages will only have languages that you can learn from. So if I click into another one, Bosnian. So Bosnian's only for English speakers. It didn't give me any other options, right? If I go to Spanish, I can learn if I'm an English speaker, if I'm a Portuguese speaker, or if I'm a Turkish speaker. Okay, so that's how you would select a language in transparent language. But we're focusing on KidSpeak, and KidSpeak is only available for 6 languages at the moment. And you can tell which languages they are because they have this green highlighted KidSpeak available button. And so the 6 languages are Chinese, English, French, German, Italian, and Spanish. All right, so I'm going to click Italian, and I'm going to click for English speakers, Italian, and this is going to bring me to the language learning page. Right. Now, to get to the KidSpeak program, we're going to go to this navigation bar here, and we're going to click on KidSpeak. Now, a little bit about it. So all the content here is age appropriate for the K-2 audience. They're going to learn words and phrases that are suitable to their age, their needs and interests. There are engaging activities that combine animation with over 40 interactive puzzles and songs. And each language is hosted by a fun cartoon friend and their pet. And they only use the language that is being taught. So it is full immersion in these programs, as the immersion approach is preferred for younger children. So what they'll learn is the alphabet, word recognition, simple sentences, plural and singular words, how to distinguish between words that look and sound similar. There is addition and subtraction exercises, time-telling exercises, and correct pronunciation exercises as well. So collectively, there are about over 700 words and expressions per language. And for the activities, there are 3 different levels of difficulty. So there's plenty to keep kids busy who are learning a new language. Plenty of activities to keep busy. Now, this is our home screen. This is the Italian KidSpeak home screen, but I don't know what any of these buttons mean. So I'm going to hit the question mark in the corner here, and this gives me a nice overlay that describes where each of these links is going to take me. So I'm going to hit, I'll just click out of that, and I'm going to hit the numbers. And it brings me to another screen. So I'm going to hit the question mark again. It'll give me an overlay with descriptions of what the activities are. I'm going to hit this addition and subtraction one. All right, so she's describing the activity in Italian. But you can also hit the overlay and it'll give you instructions on what to do. So this is an addition and subtraction game. You would obviously want headphones in or your volume on so you can hear them speaking the numbers in Italian. But you can do the activity. Oh, and we got a point. So she describes the solution in the language. Now you can choose different levels of difficulty for these activities with this circle icon. So there are 3 different circles you can choose from. Right now it's level 1 because only 1 is filled in. If I wanted the 2nd level of difficulty, I would hit, oh, I hit the 3rd one by accident. But it would give you the 2nd level or the 3rd level based on what you've chosen. Okay. And to go back to our home screen, I'm going to hit the home button here. And so most of the activities work in a similar manner. They give you a description of how to play the activity. There's the question mark overlay, which you can read about how to play the activity. So enough said about that. Another thing I want to show is this workbook button, because when you click on it, it's going to download a zip file with 2 interesting pieces of information. One is a parent guide. So this goes through the entirety of KidSpeak It gives a little overview of the program, what the different icons mean, etc. So that's nice for parents to have. The second thing that you would download from the zip file are worksheets. And these are worksheets that are specific to that language. So this is coloring and naming fruit in Italian, mystery words in Italian, connect the dots that are also numbers in Italian. So those are a really great tool to have as well. And totally free, right? You can print these right off. All right, so that is KidSpeak on Transparent Language Online. We're going to click out of that. And the last one we're going to look at is Tumblebook Library, which is right at the bottom here. So we're not going to go all the way back to the top. So we have a new brochure that we've uploaded. Gives a little description of the different features, how to access the mobile app as well. But to access, you're just going to click in, and you don't need to type in any password or barcode or anything. You're just automatically in. But what Tumblebooks is Tumblebooks offers animated and narrated storybooks, narrated ebooks, traditional ebooks, and traditional graphic novels. So many of these storybooks are created by taking existing pictures, adding animation, sound, music, and narration to produce an electronic picture book, which you can either read on your own or have read to you, almost like a video. So there are different tabs here. We'll go through the different types of materials we can look at. But on our homepage, they have all these great themed lists that you can go through as well. So these are always nice to take a gander at. So let's start with storybooks. Okay, when we click on a storybook, we find one we like. We're going to choose this one, Bounce. It's going to give us a description. It's going to give us details like the author and the reading level. But when we're ready to read it online, I'm going to hit Read Online, and a new window is going to open up. Okay, so once I hit Start Playing, it's going to automatically narrating the book to me and going through the book almost like a movie. Okay, so I can choose it to automatically go through the title, or if I go to the left here, I can select Manual, and then the pages only move when I say so. So they still animate, but the page will only flip when I choose to. You can also adjust the volume, whether you want it on or off. But that is what the narrated storybooks look like. Okay. There's also a favorites feature where you can click Add to Favorites. And then when you go up to favorites in your top bar here, any titles you've added there are going to live there until you remove them. Okay. Read-alongs is next. So these are narrated chapter books, and these don't have any illustrations to them. So again, when I click into it, it gives me a description and some details about the title. Except this time when I hit Read Online, you'll notice no illustrations, right? And what I'm looking for is in the bottom left corner here is this play button, because when I hit play, it's going to start narrating the title for me. Now, what I like about these read-alongs is that there are lots of customization options. So you can choose what chapter you want to go to from this main menu. You can set a bookmark. You can change the text. You can make it bigger, and the font size you can change. You can even change the color of the text. So maybe I want it blue on a yellow background. Right, so whatever the preference of the reader is, you can change it to reflect that. You can even add notes to different parts of the title. Okay. So those are read-alongs. Ebooks is the next tab, Ebooks don't have any narration and don't really have any illustrations either. They're similar to OverDrive ebooks, like reading in your browser, like that one we showed on the OverDrive Kids e-reading room. So when you click into a title and you hit read online, see, this one's like a graphic novel, but it works like an ebook, right? There's no option, there's no play button for it to be narrated to you. There's no customization options. It's literally just like a file, almost like a PDF file of the title that you would read in this giant screen. And that's the same for graphic novels. If I hit this Geronimo Stilton one, it's like one long file. No narration, no customization. It's just available for you to read in your browser. Okay. The nonfiction tab is mostly videos, but there is different storybooks as well. But what's nice about the videos, if I can find one, we might have to look. Oh, here we go. Is I can add them to a playlist for a storytime session. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. But if I hit play video, it's going to open up in a new tab. It kind of works like a YouTube video. So this is a nonfiction storybook that is being read out loud to me in video form. I can make it full screen. I can change the playback speed and also the volume. Okay. Now, if I want to add it to a playlist, I hit add to playlist. And you can only add videos to playlists. So that is either storybook in video format or videos just about general topics, which we'll take a look at in this tab, in the videos tab. So like this kangaroo one, I can hit add to playlist as well. And then when I go to the playlist bar up here, beside favorites, it's going to have those videos in order. So the more I add, the more videos are going to appear here. But then I can hit play, and all these videos are going to play in a row. So I can set up like a really long story time for a child or a younger patron, and then I don't have to keep coming back and changing the video or helping them change the storybook each time, because it's just going to play one after another. Right. So this can be a really useful tool for busy parents who come into the library looking to get some work done. They can set up their child with a long story time session and not have to worry about adjusting every 5 minutes. Okay. So check out the videos and the nonfiction tabs to create playlists of titles. There's a language learning tab, which has titles in French and Spanish. Hitting the playlist tab is going to have some curated playlists, but this is also another great place to find storybook videos to add to your playlist. And so these ones are sorted by time duration. So these are stories that are under 10 minutes. These ones take 10 to 20 minutes to read, 20 to 30, and so on. The last tab is puzzles and games. And it's mostly these like sentence memory games and this one down here. And they all work in a similar manner. You're just going to click into the game. It's going to give you information about the book that the game is based off of, because most of these games are based off of a particular title. But you would hit play game, and in a new tab, it'll open up. You can hit help. It'll tell you how to play the game. And then once you're ready, you would hit start, and you can make your way through the activity. All right, I'll click home. So that's a really quick and rough description of all the different items available on Tumblebook Library. Now, if you're not interested in browsing and you're searching for something specific, we're going to use Tumble Search in the top right here. Oh, they must have just changed this because this looked a little different yesterday. Okay, so for Tumble Search, there's these different parameters that you can use. So like language, how long a title is, what the genre is, Lexile information. But essentially you would type in what you're looking for. So if I'm looking for a book about the sun, I could hit go, and it's going to bring me a list of titles that have the word sun in the item record or in the title somewhere. Now, they don't have any limiters. You can't narrow down your search results. It's just what is here. But if I go back, I should be able to use these parameters. So if I want something that is, I don't know, 9 to 11 minutes long, I would hit go under that parameter, and then it's only going to suggest me titles that have that word somewhere in the item description with the 9 to 11 minute time length. Okay. If I wanted to try a different parameter like genre, maybe I want a graphic novel, I'd have to come back and change it. So what I'm trying to say is that you can't combine these. You can't have a time duration and a genre together. You have to choose one, and then you would select go underneath it, and it'll give you a list of titles. Okay. But that is Tumblebook Library. And that is the last e-resource that we are covering today. Now, if you have any questions about any of these, or you want a little bit more explanation, you can always contact me at dlotoski@peacelibrarysystem.ab.ca. And yeah, thank you for attending, and hope to see you at the next one. Take care, everyone.